Players like Amar and Collapse are always top net worth, but how do they manage to do this consistently? And just to show you that you can do it as well, here's one of my own games as an example of being top net worth. Let me show you the things that you should do to take your offlane to the next level. There are two important steps before the lane starts. First, we need to understand our heroes and our lane matchup. Here are the best starting items that you should buy in your games. First, you have the Magic Wand, Triple Branch versus spell lanes, like in this case, Weaver and Disruptor. The second build are full stats. You go double gauntlet, one circlet, triple branch. This is especially good versus lanes where you will fight a lot and you fight for CS. Gyrocopter is a very low attack damage hero, so you can abuse him in this way. The third one is a hybrid, the half stat and stick with a fairy fire. It's the in-between option of number 1 and 2. And lastly, of course, you have hero dependent builds. In this case, you have Centaur, a 0 armor hero who will lane against Bristleback. Therefore, a ring of protection is super useful. All of these starting items are immediately followed by a purchase of Tango, because none of them start with it, so you need to figure it out right away. The second thing is creep blocking. This one has two variations. Check what Collapse does here. In the top example, he lanes versus Ursa. In the bottom, it's versus Templar Assassin. These are two heroes you do not want to face right at their tower. So in variation number 1, they block the enemy first wave, because this means that your first creep wave will die in their tier 1 tower. And ultimately, their creep wave will end up close to your tier 1 tower, giving you a very nice lane control. In variation number 2, you want to block your own wave as early as possible, especially if you cannot block the enemy first wave. So in these two examples, you have both Amar and Collapse who are trying to block their wave as early as possible. Ultimately, these two things are just to change the outcome of where your first waves meet, helping you tremendously when it comes to the early laning stage. The first waves in the offlane are incredibly crucial. There's two main things you're trying to do. You want to contest every CS, as you can see Collapse doing here, and you want to take as little harass from the enemy support as possible. Check here how Collapse aggros these creeps down to create distance between himself and Ollie. But there's another very important thing happening here where this creep goes into the deny range. Many offlaners here will just give it up and walk down with these mini creeps. But you have to walk up and contest every CS if possible, as long as you will not pay a big price. So Collapse, he walks up, he contests the creep. And next best thing, if you do ever have two mini creeps, you want to pull them on your range creep like this. But there's a very big bonus step, and this you don't have to do. This one is optional because it is very high skill. You want to create a scenario where you put this range creep under half HP to force your opposing enemy into a bad scenario. What Collapse does here is that he actually wants to either force a deny or God's Rebuke Nightfall during his Q to cancel the jump. If he had been successful, Collapse would have gotten the deny and it would have looked a little something like this. After the first couple of waves, you want to try and get the lane control right in front of your tier 1. On top of that, you want to immediately spend your gold when you can to upgrade one of your first items. It could be boots, it could be bracer, it could be a magic wand. This of course depends on the hero you're playing and what you need in the lane. You want to also try to keep this range creep out of tower so that if you ever have the option, you can pull your melee creeps onto the range. All of these fundamentals will make your laning a lot stronger. The next thing you have to pay attention to is that you have to look for 2v1 scenarios. Notice here how Collapse walks upwards. Even if it's just for a moment or two, they are looking for a good trade or even potentially a kill. But the moment they see that Nightfall is close by, they don't chase. They focus on the CS. This is super important. I see people constantly overchase and try way too hard for a kill, which is obviously bad. Remember to play the situation that's in front of you. If you gotta try too hard, it's usually a shit play. Creep aggro needs to become your best friend. Creep aggro is generally used to create more distance between you and the enemy heroes and to shorten the distance between you and the CS you're going for. Check out these few examples here by Amar. He will aggro the wave once to make it come closer to him, and the moment he goes for a CS now, he will creep aggro again to make sure that the creep turns to him. Right after, he will make sure that this creep follows him, and if you look again, there is no way that the Radiant heroes can even contest this CS. And the third melee creep of this lane, the moment it goes about to be low HP, pull it towards you, run upwards, get a free CS. And when you run in for a CS, do it as late as possible so that the enemy heroes don't have a big chance of hitting you. Here's another example of why creep aggro is so important. If Collapse just walks into this creep without aggroing, he's only able to get one of the two creeps. But notice what he does. He spots this creep going low HP, so what he wants to do is force an attack command, creep aggro, make this creep walk downwards with you so that it doesn't die to these melee creeps, lasted this creep with a spell, and now lasted this creep with your original right click. Remember the hold the enemy carry hostage situation? This situation is about to happen right here. Ammar aggro 3 creeps onto his range creep. This creep is about to go below half HP. So what you want to do here, before Satanic goes for the last hit, you want to issue a attack command on Jugger so that these melee creeps all start hitting you. This basically means that now when you go and hit Satanic on the Jugger, if he last hits, he will miss it. So this just gives you free hits on the enemy carry, or it will force them to use spells. You saw this in the other scenario, you see it in this one, and now let me show you a third one. This is a similar scenario. The range creep right now for Collapse, it's going low HP, so he knows that Kiritich is going to want to run in. The moment he presses deny to force it into deny range, he just walks up immediately with the stun, and this way they get a 2v1 situation to kill the enemy carry. But I want to show you guys that he created a scenario on his own and how you can do it too. You want to find a scenario like this where you can take 3 melee creeps and make them follow you. The way you do this is that you click on an enemy hero to make the creeps follow you, but it's important you have to follow with the step. You need to hit the creeps, because if you don't hit them after your initial aggro, they will not chase you. They will walk downwards. The next tip I want to give you guys is that you need to not just turn your brain off and walk here with the wave. Stay around with your support. Keep looking for these situations where you potentially get to 2v1 a support. Only when the creep wave is very close by, then you aggro them. And what you want to do is you want to creep aggro again. Take 2 melee creeps, put them on your range. If you don't see an enemy hero in the lane, just A-click any visible hero on the map and it will work. This is where Collapse gets to this overall situation. It is only because he takes the wave back, he separates them, he pulls them up, and then he pulls them on the range creep. Without this scenario, this play will never even happen in the first place. You have to pay attention to your pos 4 in the lane and look for any 2v1 scenario that the enemy team gives you. In this case, you have Ammar who's playing Underlord. He doesn't even have a real spell. He has 2 levels in Aura, 1 level in Firestorm. But this doesn't matter. You don't even need to necessarily get a kill out of the play. You want to look for any good trades. Side lanes and dual lanes are won through HP levels and trades. They're not won purely through CS. Let me show you how you actually win your laning stage. It is through small plays like this. They go on Melody just with the Void Q, they use a tag team, and the moment that Watson and Melody use their 2 spells, they immediately back off. It is one small play like this into another play shortly after, where they do a similar play here onto Watson, Void, tag team, bait out all the spells, and immediately go back. You just poke and you walk away. People need to stop overplaying in their lanes. Because what naturally happens now is that a lot of the time stuff like this, look at the dire side, they have no regen. They're half HP on Troll with no mana. In the meantime, Collapse has a Tango running, Rue has a Tango running as well. They're full HP on him. Even though they're not killing the dire at this moment, look at them. Watson is not even able to touch a creep. And this is only due to the nature of the small trades that they've had over the past 1 minute. And it's these small trades that ultimately turn into plays like this. Now they find another 2v1 scenario, they go together, they're able to get onto Melody, and they get themselves a kill. You also have to know the first major item of your hero, because if you don't, you're absolutely griefing your game. Check what the pros are doing. On Centaur, you want to go Helm of Iron Will into Dominator because you're low armor. Primal Beast loves move speed because of Trample, so you go Phase Boots Windlace. Magnus, you max in power, which gives you damage, so you want attack speed, so you go Treads. If you do this properly, you will improve your MMR by so much. Also remember, you don't have to do all of these things right away. Some of them are fairly advanced, so take your time and start slow. I'm currently also cooking up a post-laning stage video as a follow-up to this one. If you've enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel because it really helps it grow. With that said, thank you all for watching and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.